So I learned about the patches probably about a year before I actually started using them. Somebody introduced them to me, and I literally didn't know what they were. She didn't give me like the full rundown of how they worked and what they did. And then a year later, a good friend of mine, Kate, she introduced them to me again or reintroduced them to me again and told me her story. And I was like, I have to try this because I had had really bad neck and shoulder pain on my right side for about 15 years. And that pain, I did everything: chiropractor, acupuncture, massage, cupping, CBD oils, like you name it, I was trying it. Nothing was getting rid of it. So I was like, I'm going to try these and see what happens. And I I got the X39 and the Eon to start, and I put them on right away when I got them. And within a week, my pain was down about 50%. And then about 3 weeks in, I would say my pain was down to like 90 to 95% gone. I'm still like sitting in that 8 months later where my pain is like, it just kind of sits in that 90, but that's like an amazing place for me comparatively to where I was. I started noticing after the 3 weeks, though, that my sleep and energy shifted in a huge way that I didn't even expect to see. I was not realizing that I wasn't like sleeping through the night. And if I did wake up, I would not be able to fall back asleep. And then I was able to actually fall back asleep. My energy shifted in the fact that I didn't have that like late afternoon lull that I would get with my kids. I could keep going in the afternoon, which was huge. And that piece just like continued to shift with me. I had a vertigo episode happen that I placed patches on certain spots that were recommended, and the vertigo, it was awful. The room was spinning. I mean, I was having a really hard time, and that vertigo went away in a matter of I would say a couple hours. I was actually able to function again. Um, the biggest shift that I did not expect to see and has been the biggest blessing for me has been my hormones. I had really, really, really bad cycles for 3 years to the point where I didn't want to leave my house on the first couple days of getting my period because it was so bad. I, yeah, we'll save the details for another story, but it was awful. And I, about month two, I decided to start trying the SP6 patch. And I was like, why not? Let's give it a shot. And so slowly, I noticed every single month my cycle would get a little bit less. It was normally a 10 to 12-day cycle, and it would get a little bit less and not as heavy, and a little bit less and not as heavy. And it became to the point where I now can go out of my house and not be worried about what could happen. I also had really bad varicose veins that happened on my one side of my legs when I was pregnant with my first son. And they've just gotten worse and worse over the last 9 years. And I've noticed those have completely gone away. I've been putting the Alavita patch on, and leading into the Alavita patch, I was really not great to my skin when I was younger. I did a lot of tanning beds and baby oils and all the things that you try to do to become tan as a young girl. And I've noticed in the last month or so, my skin is finally starting to get back to that normal place that I've been waiting for it to have happen with these patches. So yeah, that's all of the things that I've noticed in the last 8 months of wearing these.
I guess I also think it's interesting. How long have you been on these now?
8 months.
8 months. And so you obviously, and you talked about SP6 and Dr. Stacy will talk more about, obviously the technologies for flow, and Alavita for skin, and of course X39. And you said 8 months now you're noticing that your skin is getting nicer. All the damage is getting better from I remember those tanning beds. For me, it was like the 80s. But so yeah, and that took a little time on your skin, it sounds like you're starting to notice that now.
it's finally getting that regeneration process starting to happen. But I mean, it's taken 8 months where I'm finally starting to see that like pigmentation drop and all the things that I did to it. I mean, it was bad. I mean, and even like the wrinkles that started to form. I mean, I'm 41 years old and all of a sudden I just like started noticing it the last year or two with like when we would do family pictures, I was like, oh, there's some extra ones that I didn't notice. And it was just that overuse of sun damage and the tanning bed.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about like what you do like for a living, like some of the, the fitness that you've been doing? I don't know, do you wear X49 and what's been
Yep.
happening with, tell us just a little bit about that side of you, the fitness side of you. People don't probably know that about you here.
Yeah, so I've been a personal trainer, yoga instructor for the last 20 years or so. And I definitely have been wearing the X49 for that reason alone, just because I've wanted that like muscle recovery to happen and I wanted to be able to see that I could like enhance what I've been doing in the gym. And I've actually been doing a little New Year's challenge for myself to be able to do a certain rhythm and rhyme to it all. And I'll continue to keep you posted on how that goes. But it's amazing what I'm able to do. My flexibility has gotten so much better because my recovery time has gotten better. So I'm able to get into some of the postures that I've never been able to get into because my muscles aren't as tight and they're not holding on to things like they used to. So that piece has helped. And then because of the inflammation coming down in my shoulder, I've been able to do things that I haven't been able to do in a year or I mean years because I was scared. If I lifted something wrong, it was gonna make it so I couldn't sleep at night and I didn't feel good because I was in that situation. I was having a hard time lifting my youngest son out of his crib sometimes because of my shoulder.
Wow.